Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast on the internet. Mates with Joe, another fucking podcast. News, Mates with Joe. Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast. Hello, and welcome to Mates with Joe Jacobs, with me, Joe Jacobs. I wanted to make a podcast because in 2018, everybody's got to pump out that content, you know. My only problem is I didn't really have any guests, but I thought long and hard and decided that in this digital age, I'm going to go analog, try and reach out to the big wide world, see if I can find some mates out there. And I thought, what better place to start than with the cold callers who relentlessly hassle me. Here they are.
Hello?
Hello?
I'm looking for Mr. Jacobs.
Speaking.
Mr. Jacobs, you okay today?
I'm good. I'm on the podcast. How are you?
Good, thank you. Mr. Jacobs, I'm a senior verification officer.
So who am I speaking to then?
My name is Keith.
Keith? Keith what?
Yeah. Keith Richards.
Keith Richards? You're in the Rolling Stones?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Ah. Will you be my mate on the podcast?
No, I cannot.
Okay. Well, that's all you need to say.
We are conducting a quick questionnaire for some of the UK's leading companies. Could you please help us by answering some simple questions? I just need your 2 minutes.
You got 1 minute.
Yeah? Yeah. Can I go on?
50 seconds.
Could you please tell me which of the following age band you fall into? You are into 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80 plus?
Yeah.
Your age band? 30 to 34 or 35 to 39?
30.
30.
Yeah.
Okay.
How old are you?
For complete... Yeah, I'm 25.
Where are you?
Pardon?
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from offshore call center based in India, near New Delhi. Okay, got it?
Fuck,
Yeah?
you're in New Delhi, man. Awesome.
Pardon?
That's cool.
Yeah, can I go on? Yeah.
You can
Okay.
go on. Yeah. I don't know what you're
as
talking
well
about, though.
Oh, no. I think I'm wasting my time as well as yours, okay? Anyways, thank you.
Hello?
Hi.
Are you Mr. Jacobs?
Yeah.
Are you Mr. Jacobs? May I ask, are you currently employed, self-employed or retired?
I'm working on the Joe Jacobs podcast, Mates with Joe Jacobs.
All right. Is this a residential address, though?
Yeah. You want to be on the podcast?
Pardon?
Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast?
No.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
All right, great.
Yeah. All right. I have to go.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Can I speak to Gail, please?
Gail?
Yeah.
What's it about?
I'm returning a phone call.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what it's about, to be honest.
Is it about the podcast?
I wouldn't have thought so.
The Joe Jacobs podcast?
No, I might have been given the wrong number then. I do apologise.
Hang on. So you want Gail,
Yeah.
and it's not about the podcast?
No.
Are you sure?
I've just been asked to give her a call. I'd imagine it's about an insurance policy.
An insurance policy. Was she on the podcast?
Not that I'm aware of.
So who is this?
My name's Rob.
So you're not on the Joe Jacobs podcast?
No.
Right. And Gail was?
I don't know.
You want to be on the podcast?
Jacobs, is this you? Please press 1 for yes or 2 for no. Thanks. Free of charge, we are now connecting you to the next available operator.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, my name is Lena. I'm calling from Frederickson International.
Who?
Frederickson International?
You my mate?
Frederickson.
Yeah.
Your mate?
Yeah.
No, we're a company.
Okay, what's it regarding?
Well, I'm just going to speak to Mr. Jacobs, please.
He's talking to you now, babes.
Pardon?
He's talking to you now, babes.
If I can take you through security then, and then I can speak to you about it. Can I just ask you to confirm the date of birth, please?
Why am I giving you my date of birth?
That's just the final thing that I need to take for myself in order to go through.
Hang on a minute, I want to know what Frederickson want with me. Nina?
Yeah.
Can I speak to someone else over there, please?
Yeah, I'm gonna...
I want to speak to Fredrickson himself.
Well, Fredrickson himself isn't not a person.
He's not a person.
No, it's just the name of the company.
So it's a made-up name.
The name of the company, Fredrickson International.
Tina, can I speak to someone else there, please? Because I want to know what this was about. Unfortunately, she kept me waiting for 45 minutes. So I was back to the drawing board. The cold callers didn't want to be my friend, so I thought maybe I could reach out, call other people. So I asked my friends on Facebook if they had any audience questions to help me on the next step of my journey. Would you like to ask a question? Would you like to ask a question? Would you like to ask a question? Question? Yes, then.
Calling speed up, can I help you?
Hello, you're live on the Joe Jacobs podcast. I've got a few questions about an order, yeah? So William Palmer wants to know, do you eat gluten?
Yes, we do gluten-free pizza, and it comes in small size.
Okay, so Jessica Church wants to know, if you could only eat 2 meats for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Meat pizza.
A meat pizza.
Meat, I can go with pepperoni, sausage, bacon.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yes.
So Kieran Atkins asks, what eats bees? Hello?
Hello, yes.
Yeah. Any idea? So Prabs wants me to ask you if it's all right to ask a question. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Tony Hinkson asks, do you know Dangerous T? Do you know him?
Dangerous?
Dangerous T, yeah.
I don't know, sorry.
Okay. All right. Glenn Gandy wants to know, what's your name?
Who's asking for my name?
Glenn.
My name is...
Daniel. Okay, nice to meet you. So Leo Curse wants to know, have you seen the Wolverine film that's just come out? In the cinema.
Okay, what order you want to do now?
Would you be my mate?
Yeah?
Yeah, cool. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
the best, bye. Mates with Joe. Mates with Joe. Hey, how are you? Welcome to the podcast. It's, who am I speaking to?
Speaking to...
Kevin. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are yourself?
I'm good, very good. Nice to hear from you. How's it going?
I'm fine, thank you.
Cool. I'm just looking for some mates today.
Mate?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Cool. What time are you open?
We're open now.
Okay, cool. I've got a few questions.
Okay.
Just some listener questions. So, first of all, Prabs wants me to know if it's okay if I can ask a question.
Yes, well, carry on.
Okay, cool. Nick asks, who am I interviewing? What was your name?
My name is...
Kevin. Cool. Kieran wants to know, what eats bees?
Bees?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What is this call regarding, if you don't mind me asking? Because I'm finding all your questions very funny.
And of course they were funny. But there was one question that I thought we could really get to the bottom of. So, I made a call and asked Ali Bryce's question. Here's how it went.
How can I help?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, not bad. You're live on the Joe Jacobs podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So I got a question from Ali Bryce. Do you know where he'd left his keys?
Is it someone who stayed with us?
I would assume so, yeah.
We've got lost property department, so I can transfer you through them.
Oh, please do, thank you.
Bear with me, thank you.
One sec, are you my mate?
No, I don't think so, no.
Oh, so.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hello, Mr. King?
Hello, are you my mate?
Yes?
Yeah, cool. So Ali Bryce asks, where did I leave my keys?
Sorry?
Ali wants to know where he's left his keys.
Okay, and where your colleague was staying?
In the hotel, presumably.
Which room?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's probably on the keys, I think.
So I don't know if you have any lost property which belongs to your colleague. Give me 5 minutes, I will go downstairs, I will check it, and I will call you back.
Hey, big the fuck up. Thank you. Much
Okay.
appreciated. Cheers.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Thanks. We'll be right back to Mates with Joe Jacobs after a quick word from this week's sponsor.
You know, it doesn't matter how careful you are with money. That's where Quick Money, the online payday lender, could help. With their short-term loans, you could borrow the money you need now, and if approved before 2:30 p.m, you could have the money in your account the same day and pay it back on your next payday, and the next working day if approved after 2:30 p.m. And you pay 25% the next working day and 30% the next working day, and remember 2% the same day. Pay the next 30% after 2:30 p.m.
It's so quick and simple. There's nothing to fax and no extra paperwork to send. Do what I did and get too many bills this month.
Quick Money, committed to responsible lending and financial solution.
For those just joining us, we're in the process of trying to locate a Mr. Ali Bryce's keys. Here's what happened. We want to find the keys, Ali Bryce's keys. We want to find the keys, Ali Bryce's keys.
Good afternoon.
Local Scottish hotel.
Speaking, how can I help?
How are you, man?
Not bad, thanks.
Yeah. What's going on over there?
Sorry, you realise you're through.
Local Scottish hotel. Yeah, maybe you can help.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I'm looking for Ali Bryce's keys.
What was that, sorry?
Looking for Ali Bryce. He doesn't know where he put his keys.
Ali, right?
Bryce, yeah.
Bryce.
That was my other mate from last night, fucking geezer.
Right.
Yeah.
No problem, just hold on for 2 seconds then.
Yeah, cool. Looking for my keys. Looking for keys. Can you hear that? You hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
I can't hear that yet.
I'm fucking bongoing. Looking for my keys. Looking to find a mate. What'd you think?
I can hear your bongos, yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Right, no problem. So I'm going to pass you through to the lost property now.
Thanks, man.
Yes?
It's your mate Joe.
Yes?
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Cool. Do you remember me?
Yes?
Guess what?
What?
Looking for keys.
Yes?
Yeah.
And I found it?
You found one?
Yes, it was room 207.
207. Ali Bryce's keys, yeah?
Yes?
What else did you find in lost property?
In this room, I found it like blue jacket
Blue
from
jacket.
Primark
Lovely. Yep.
and Samsung charger.
Samsung charger. Yeah, it sounds like Ali. Always forgetting things.
Yeah, because I know that it was 2 person in the room. So is it belongs to your friend or not?
I think it does. So what we're going to do is, would you mind putting it in reception?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah, that's cool. Would you mind putting me back to Angus?
But sir, I cannot do it. It's like I cannot do it with this phone.
Right.
It's hang out and you call again.
Did you say we can hang out?
Yes. And
Right.
they will and call again. We can do it this.
All right, you've been a great friend.
Yes.
Thank you. All the best.
You're welcome, sir.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So there you have it. Anyone who tells you can't find a friend at a lost property department in a Scottish hotel is a bloody liar, because I think I just proved that you can. Many thanks to Ali Bryce with his wonderful question. It made me think, perhaps I don't even need questions at all. Maybe I could just simply be myself and make some new pals that way. In the next episode of Mates with Joe Jacobs. Will you be my mate?
It's not what we offer. Fuck off, we're on TV.
That's the podcast.
Fuck's a podcast.
Am I speaking to cum slut sexy Sarah?
Yes.
It's a Friday night, man. Saturday morning. Can you ask me to be your mate? Thank you for calling. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you want to follow me, find me on Twitter @JesterJacobs or on Facebook @JesterJacobs. You have been listening to a podcast produced by Organised Mess. Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast on the internet. Mates with Joe, another fucking podcast. News, Mates with Joe. Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast. Previously on Mates with Joe Jacobs.
Well, Frederickson himself they're not a person.
He's not a person.
No, it's just the name of the company.
So it's a made-up name.
I hear your mood, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think? Right.
Hang out and call again.
Did you say we can hang out?
Yes.
Don't worry, Mr. Jacob.
Tony Hinkson asks, do you know Dangerous Tea?
Dangerous?
Dangerous Tea, yeah.
I don't know, sorry.
Okay. Would you be my mate?
Yeah.
Hello, welcome back to the podcast, Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast, episode 2. Thank you for joining me. It's going to be very exciting. Obviously, in the last episode, we covered a lot of ground. We located a man's keys. We learned a lot of interesting bits and bobs, but we weren't really any closer, I would say, to me finding a friend, and that is the objective here. Ultimately, we're reaching out, trying to make those human connections that in this modern digital world are kind of so hard to come by. Obviously, I've been calling a few people, but I get glimmers of hope, such as last night when I received a phone call from a man. It was an accident, but we did form a friendship of sorts.
I don't know who called. Well, you called me off of your phone, but yeah, no, man, you're like.
The weird thing is, I mean, you've called me.
Yes. Yeah, of course, you're gonna think that. I would think the same thing. Obviously, someone's used your phone to call me, so I'm just obviously trying to. Are you from South Africa?
I'm not from South Africa, but you're on the podcast. Do you have anything you want to say? Have you got any shows to plug or anything like that?
Podcast?
Yeah.
Fuck, you're on TV?
No, it's a podcast. No.
Fuck's a podcast, man? Is that like a... What is that? You say podcast, I'm like thinking of like loads of people in the pub and then you're on your phone and like...
No, pod, not pod.
Oh, pod?
Yeah. So I'm like just interviewing sort of people.
Oh, right, yeah.
So you're a guest on it now?
Oh, dude, I wouldn't fucking employ me, man. Seriously, if you're interviewing me.
It's not for a job.
I wouldn't employ me. But...
Well, do you want the job?
What job is it?
To be a guest on the podcast.
The fuck's a podcast, man?
It's what this is.
Is that like that live TV thing, or?
Well, it's just new, really. I don't really know where it's going.
I like you, man. I think we should. I'm a little bit fat now, but I'm gonna save your number, man. We'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah, hit me up, cuz. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Safe, bro. Safe.
I think this was a good thing. Do you?
I think it's the start of something beautiful, man.
It was, yeah. What was your name again?
Joe.
Joe. Ollie, man. I'd shake your hand through the phone.
Yeah, safe, bro.
Shake through the phone.
So are you mates with Joe Jacobs at this point?
Joe, that's why I don't really know Joe Jacobs, no.
That's the podcast, Mates with Joe Jacobs.
Joe Jacobs, no. But yeah, no, I don't know Joe Jacobs, but yeah, no beef, man.
Alright. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Fuck off, am I on TV?
No, it's the podcast.
Have you played me on the radio?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm swearing, man.
No, it's...
And you're like the worst presenter that I've ever... If you're actually on the radio, people listen to this, seriously, they need to go to bed. You're like the worst. No offence to you, man, do you know what I mean? It's only like 5 minutes, but... Right. Anyway, I will save your number, man, and I'll be back on the podcast tomorrow.
Alright, well, thank you for being on the podcast.
You're welcome, man. Thank you very much for having me.
It's my pleasure. Have a good night.
You too, man.
Goodbye. So regular listeners to the podcast might have heard that some of my struggles for friendship have been in vain. The sad truth is there's only one thing people respond to in life. Cold, hard cash. So that's why I decided to make some friends and pay them in the process.
Hello, and what's your name?
It's Joe Jacobs.
Hello, Joe Jacobs. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Why have you called me today?
Well, I'm kind of looking for a friend.
A friend? Right. You are aware that I'm a dominatrix?
Yeah, of course.
Right. And you are aware that this is business and not pleasure?
Yeah, always.
Right. So you have a fetish, do you?
Yeah.
Yes, mistress.
Sorry, yes, mistress.
Mm-hmm. And what is your fetish?
Podcasts.
Right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, and I'm on the podcast. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. You're on the what, did you say?
Just making my podcast. Thought I'd give you a call.
Okay, fine.
Looking for a friend,
You're looking for a friend? What sort of friend?
What kind of friend are you?
I can be anything you want me to be. You have to tell me what you want, your desires.
My desire is to kind of get Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast off the ground, really, and to find some friends.
Okay. Are you into MILFs then?
Well, yeah, I mean, be friends with anyone, really.
Oh, thanks. Cheer me up. Please. Okay, well, I'll tell you where I'm at. I'm naked on the bed. Very, very horny.
You ever had a mate like Joe Jacobs before?
Nope, that was my first.
What do you think?
Very nice. I like your voice. How rude what do you want me to be, Jojo?
As rude as you want. That's the podcast. Go for it.
Well, I'd lay you on the bed. Then I'll climb on top. Hold you down so that I'm in control. You can't stop me.
Cool. Do you like podcasts?
Yeah.
You ever listen to any podcasts?
No. Well, then I'd climb off. Then I would lick you.
Hello.
Hello there, this is Joe Jacobs.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Am I speaking to Cum Slut Sexy Sarah?
Yes.
Brilliant. Can I tell you my fantasy, please?
Of course you can.
I'm a podcast host, and you're my friend on the podcast, and you keep distracting me.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so should we go?
Go for it.
Hello, I'm Joe Jacobs. Welcome to the Joe Jacobs podcast with my guest today. It's Cum Slut Sexy Sarah. Hello.
Hello.
And how's it going?
Very good, thank you.
What are you up to?
I'm just chilling out in my bedroom.
Great. We've got a few audience questions, if you fancy them.
Yes, go for it.
Would you like to ask a question? Would you like to ask a question? Would you like to ask a question? Question. Yes, then. Alex Graham asks, what is Britain's favourite sausage?
It's normally about 7 inches long. And there's a man at the end of it.
Brilliant. Ali Bryce asks, what is Britain's least favourite sausage?
The crusty one.
Well, after that exchange, I felt absolutely demoralised, humiliated and ashamed. I didn't know really where to turn. Everything I tried to do, everything I tried to achieve with this Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast seemed to be failing.
In the next episode of Mates with Joe Jacobs.
What are you interested in regarding Scientology yourself?
The Scientology kind of approach to life was quite interesting to me. I'm trying to make some friends on this podcast, and I'm having a bit of trouble.
What?
It could be something that isn't criminal, but it might be an offence of some other description, yeah? So I certainly wouldn't do it until I'm able to tell you what the law is on this.
I see.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you want to follow me, find me on Twitter @JesterJacobs or on Facebook @JesterJacobs.
You have been listening to a podcast produced by Organised Mess.
Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast on the internet. Mates with Joe, another fucking podcast. News, Mates with Joe. Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast. Previously on Mates with Joe Jacobs. Am I speaking to cum slut sexy Sarah?
Yes.
Fuck off, we're on TV.
That's the podcast.
Which one do you want me to be, Jojo?
As rude as you want. That's the podcast. Go for it.
I hear your phone, would you?
Yeah, what do you think? Right.
Hang out and we call again.
Did you say we can hang out?
Yes.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast. The podcast in which I scour the globe looking for connections, friendship. You know, that's what we all want in life. There's a firework going off there. It's fireworks night. A lot of people out with their friends exploding at things, but I'm here. You know, I'm here. I'm trying to make friends in other ways. You know, I don't have a friend to do a firework with. But in some ways, I'm creating fireworks of friendship through these conversations, you know. And I got off to a great start the other day. Music, very important to me. Music is in some ways the sound of friendship, or in other ways just music, you know, and we like music. So I thought I'd chat to a musician. Well, he's not a musician, he's a man in a music shop.
This is James Oxford speaking.
Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast. You're live. Basically, I'm looking to get a few bits and bobs, music-wise.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could help me out.
Potentially, yeah. What are you looking for?
I have no talent, and I'm trying to become a musician.
Okay, yeah, that's what we're all trying to do.
I'm making a podcast.
Oh, you're making a podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to be on it?
I think I'm okay, to be honest.
All right.
Thank you for the offer, though.
No, you're welcome. It's about music and stuff, and making friends.
Yeah, we are closing in literally 2 minutes, so I'll either have to take your number or you have to call back another time.
Oh. Okay. Well, I'm talking pedals, talking auto-tune, voice modulation, and computer.
Okay.
Yeah? So that sort of stuff. So I'd like some voice modulation things.
Yeah, we do like voice modulation pedals, yeah. There's like the Boss VE20, which is a really good one.
Yeah. What does it do?
It can do auto-tune, reverb, there's like a vocoder effect, like harmony effects and stuff like that.
Okay, and do you sell any others? You got any delays? You got any delay?
We do.
What would be the longest delay that you sell?
I don't know.
Do you know anyone that could just tell me, just because that's really important, the long delay?
No, we are closed now. But I'm gonna have to go now, mate, because we're closed.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate.
Say again, sorry?
Thank you, mate. Thank you for your time, mate.
That's alright.
Cheers, mate.
Great. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye, mate. We're back. What next? What next, I hear you ask? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, just try not to turn away from the...
Yeah, don't give me advice about how to communicate in my own podcast, mate. It's my podcast, my rules. If I want to move my head to the left, I'll do that. Yeah? Don't look at me. Making a podcast is frustrating stuff. Yeah. So I decided I'd give my little kid sister a call so she could give me some pearls of wisdom. Hello?
What?
Listen, I'm trying to make some friends on this podcast and I'm having a bit of trouble.
What?
I'm having a bit of trouble making some friends.
Right.
So what do you think I should do?
What do you mean?
You're my sister. I need some advice.
Well then, ask about life.
Ask about life. Ask about Maybe she was right. I did need to think more carefully about life and my life choices. Faith, that's a big, important part of many people's lives. Hang on a minute. Maybe that could be my next step towards friendship. A community of like-minded people striving for the same goal.
Good afternoon, how can I help?
Hi, I'm interested in sort of joining the organisation, maybe.
Okay, coming in.
Potentially, I just wanted to know the process. I've heard that it's quite a good place to network, make new friends, find some mates.
Cool. If you want to find out what we do and stuff, you can just come in and we can walk you around it and show you our exhibition. Then explain what we actually do.
So what's the process?
What are you interested in regarding Scientology itself?
The Scientology kind of approach to life is quite interesting to me.
Yeah, so you can come in and find out more about it.
But I take it you're a Scientologist yourself?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So what have you benefited from since joining?
We work on making everything and anything we can better.
Yeah.
And if it works, that's the only reason why we're here.
Okay, so like for example, I'm into sort of audio, I'm trying to be a podcast presenter.
Cool.
Like, would it help me with that sort of thing?
Yeah, of course. Of course, it's all the work, problems of work, what can stop you from doing your work, etc., etc. As I said, you can come in and we can talk about it.
So what would you recommend for someone who's trying to sort of work on podcasts and stuff as a course?
That depends. I'm just a receptionist, so you'd have to talk to like a supervisor here who actually deals with that.
Right. Did you do a receptionist Scientology course or something? Or is it?
No.
Oh, okay. And in terms of like networking and kind of finding mates, is it a good place for that?
Not necessarily, but as I said, it varies. So you'd have to talk to a supervisor who knows more about that.
Do you think you could put me through to anyone?
Of course. What's your name?
Joe.
Awesome. Well done.
Hi, is that Joe?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. My name's
Jonathan.
So I work here. I'm one of the people who are volunteers here, and they help people out with different sort of services.
Okay. How long have you been a Scientologist for?
Quite a while. Well, is this an interview?
Kind of.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, to do interviews, the best thing for yourself is actually to email and obviously what it's for and so on.
Okay, so back to the interview though. So when did you start Scientology yourself?
Well, as I said, this is obviously not how we conduct interviews, like over the phone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. I do have one more question.
Sure.
If I came to Scientology for an induction, would you be my mate and sort of help me out?
Well, yeah, I'd be very happy to obviously like show you around and answer some of your questions and things. But of course, if there's anything else, then yeah, I'd be very happy to help you out.
That's very kind. So like the reason I'm into it is that I'm trying to do this like a podcast and trying to work on my audio stuff, and I heard that you've got classes and courses and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, no, I understand. We have lots of different things. I mean, one of the best things is if you live in London, do you?
Yeah.
You can come by, good. Then you can come by and obviously check out our free exhibition, which you can just tour at your leisure.
All right, thank you. What's the best material to start on?
It depends what you're after. Do you know what I mean?
I'm like trying to get better at my podcasts.
Right. Okay. Well, do you feel like you could better communicate?
I'm just trying to find mates for it, really.
Okay. Well, there is something that you could do, which I have in mind. So yeah, when you come in, I'll show you what that is exactly.
Sounds mysterious.
It's called conditions.
Conditions, okay.
Yeah, if you know the conditions, then you can actually apply that, and it helps you to kind of make yourself known to people and network and so on.
Ah, nice.
Good. All right, mate. Well, take care.
Thanks, mate.
Pleasure. See you
Cheers.
later.
Bye. Well, that was certainly an interesting conversation. Now, I had a meeting to organise, and luckily, I knew just the people to help me out. Cab drivers. Black, minicab, and illegal. They form one of the largest friends networks in all of England. I thought I'd get in touch with them and see if they fancied making a new pal. They typically respond well to short, sharp questions, so I began by simply asking them if they had one.
Taxi.
You got one?
Sorry?
You got one?
I got what?
It's got 4 wheels and a steering wheel, mate. It's called a car.
I have, but not for you.
Nothing, though.
I got like an out.
Is this a cab company?
Yeah.
Whereabouts is you based?
Stratford, East Ham, Blainstown.
This is Joe Jacobs calling from the Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast. Just wondering, would you be able to collect me?
From what area?
Well, I'm currently in a pod.
No, we don't pick up that far.
So what if I?
Drivers there.
So I'm Joe Jacobs. If you got to.
You're Jay Jacobs.
Yeah. This is Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast. I'm just calling about a lift when I'm back.
Okay.
So if
we ain't got any drivers, unfortunately.
No, I understand that. So I'm Joe Jacobs. If I got back what sort of time are you open till?
We don't close.
You open the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Joe Jacobs, you understand?
So let's keep it business. This is the second time we're telling you, Mr. Joe Jacobs.
Thank you.
That can't happen. Because we're not based there. Mr. Joe Jacobs.
Will you be my mate?
It's a Friday night, man. Saturday morning. And you're asking me to be your mate. Thank you for calling. Bye-bye.
Mates with Joe. Mates with Joe.
We'll be right back to Mates with Joe Jacobs after a quick word from this week's sponsor.
Scientology. It gave me a whole new approach. It helped me so much. It's fun. It's amazing. Fantastic. I learned courses, facts, figures, amazing community get-togethers. And at the end of it all, your chance to reach the higher thetan level. So for more information, check out scientology.org.uk and get an e-meter reading test near you. Yeah. Big shouts to my man El.
Since I started this podcast, I've been running into a similar issue after repeated calls. The question of legality. Was I even allowed to record phone calls with my attempts to make new friends? Am I breaking the law trying to find these new acquaintances? I didn't know. But I did know a man who did know. And I recorded him to find out more. Yes, I spoke to my lawyer.
Hello?
Hi. John Cohen Bergstein.
Speaking.
How are you? It's Joe.
Joe? Hi. How are you, Joe?
I'm okay. Did I wake you?
I'm in the office, Joe.
Yeah, I thought, just checking.
Okay.
How you doing?
Not bad, you?
I'm alright. I just wanted to ask you a question about,
sure.
Basically, is it illegal to record phone conversations for a podcast?
I'm not sure, Joe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about the law relating to this to give an answer.
In your opinion?
What is it that you're doing or proposing to do?
Well, I'm recording a podcast called Mates with Joe Jacobs. And I'm just calling up various people and having short interviews with them.
And you're not telling them you're interviewing them?
No.
And the reason is?
Just for a laugh.
I don't know, Joe. So, I'll find out for you. And I'll call you back probably sometime tomorrow. I'll have to ask someone else, but I don't know the answer. I'm sorry, I don't know. If I knew the answer, I'd tell you, but I simply don't. It's not my area of the law.
What is your area of the law?
Anything but that. No, it doesn't matter, Joe. I don't know what the answer is to your question because I don't know enough about the law relating to the privacy of conversations and so on and so forth, yeah?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, it may be that it could be something that isn't criminal, but it might be an offence of some other description, yeah? So I certainly wouldn't do it until I'm able to tell you what the law is on this. But I don't know off the top of my head.
I see. Okay. Thanks for the answer.
Okay, mate.
Would you ever be on the podcast yourself?
Joe, can I get on with my work? We'll have a conversation another time.
Alright, okay, I'll speak to you soon. See you later.
Okay, bye.
Fuck! That was a revelation. Looks like I'm in a potentially grey area, morally, legally, and conceptually. Where do I take the Mates with Joe Jacobs podcast from here? Who knows? But tune in to find out. On the next series of Mates with Joe Jacobs, we take things international. How do you feel being on the podcast? Are you enjoying it so far?
Huh? Kiska cast? Picture ka cast?
No.
Movie?
Cast? Yeah, podcast. Internet.
Сколько что так numero?
Yeah, mine. What?
Сколько так numero? Сколько это Joe?
Что это? Что такое это стор? Я не понимаю.
It's a mile away. Why is everyone at the store a mile away? Yes, it is a podcast. Great to have you on. I'm Joe. Welcome to my show.
Figlio di puttana, merda umana, figlio di Troia, che cazzo vuoi? Succhiami il cazzo, Troia!
What?
No tengo ningún amigo que se llame Joe Jacobs y tampoco quiero ningún amigo que se llame Joe Jacobs.
Yeah, that's me. Thanks.
Ma non so che cazzo sia Joe Jacobs, che cazzo me frega.
Hello.
John Jacobs.
All right, thanks for being a part of the podcast. You've been a great guest. All the best. Have a great week. Yeah, exactly.
You have been listening to a podcast produced by Organised Mess.